Well, it's a really dull, dark, drizzly day in Lincolnshire, and going stir crazy indoors, need to get out, but sometimes you just need a purpose to get outside. So I've come to Bolingbroke Castle, and I'm going to show you a little bit. It's ruins, but it's still a really fascinating place. So much history here. Haven't been for years, so I've decided to have a look round, and I'll take you with me. Originally, the moat would have gone right up to the castle walls all the way around, and there would have been a wooden bridge over to the castle. And you can just about get all the way around the castle now. There's a little footpath. They do have to be careful because they did nearly end up in the moat. But it's fascinating to just stand there. I don't know if you can get the atmosphere from photographs and the videos, but to feel the strength of the walls, even as small as they are now, and just to imagine listening to those hooves as they came over the bridge into the castle, the noise of the soldiers, the noise of the people living there, and just feel that energy and that history in the stones. I just find it absolutely fascinating. So a brief history of Bolingbroke Castle was that it was one of three castles built by Ranulph de Blunderville, I love that name, Earl of Chester and Lincoln in the 1220s, after his return from the Crusades. After his death, the castle remained in the ownership of the Earls of Lincoln and was later inherited through marriage by John of Gaunt, Duke of Lancaster. He was an extremely powerful member of the royal court and became the guardian of Richard II when the young king succeeded to the throne at the age of 10. John of Gaunt and his first wife lived at the castle during the 1360s, and their son Henry of Bolingbroke was born there in 1367. Henry had a tempestuous relationship with Richard II and was exiled in 1397. He returned to England after the death of his father in 1399, enraged that the king had seized the estates he had inherited. Richard was in Ireland, attempting to quell a rising when he heard of Henry's return. These events marked the end of Richard II's reign. Henry of Bolingbroke was encouraged to claim the throne of England from his unpopular rival, and Richard was imprisoned. Soon afterwards, Henry was crowned king. During the Civil War, 1642-8, the castle became a defensible base for a royalist garrison and was besieged by the parliamentarian forces in 1643. The royalists surrendered that winter and the entire castle was destroyed. Bolingbroke Castle is a prime example of 13th century architectural design and is described as an enclosure castle. Such castles are characterised by curtain walls with towers enclosing a courtyard, and within this courtyard there would have been timber frame structures including a great hall and service buildings, evidence of which was found in excavations during the 60s. The southwest tower, which is now known as the King's Tower, was rebuilt between 1444 and 1456. By this time the castle was more than 200 years old, and this remodelling represents an attempt by the owners to express their wealth and importance. From the Auditor's Tower can be seen the root yard, the field to the south of the castle, which contains several earthworks, including a rectangular enclosure. and debate continues as to the original use of the earthwork, which may have been a fish pond, an animal compound, or a 17th century fort. The castle now is under the custodianship of English Heritage, and it's not a huge place, but it's got such a lovely feeling of that history and that time's gone by, and you can spend a happy hour wandering around, looking out over the scenery, over the moat, picturing what it must have been like to be there in those days. So I've hoped you enjoy the wander around as much as I have and enjoy the photos.